How to start a sailing channel. I'm Maya. My partner Aladino and I have been sailing around the Mediterranean on our little 28-foot boat for the last 1.5 years, and we've had our channel on YouTube for that amount of time as well. We've seen some moderate success with the channel to the point where we're now able to live a modest lifestyle off of it. However, there's a lot of behind the scenes on all of these YouTube channels, and I want to talk briefly about all of those considerations, the amount of time that I spend making these videos, the way that I think about these videos, the sacrifices we make to make these videos. All of that is going to be in this video. So if you are thinking of starting your own sailing channel, or if you love watching sailing channels and you just want to learn a little bit more about the behind the scenes, then this video is for you. So the first thing you should do is to find your story. Now this is the most important and also perhaps the most overlooked piece of advice in starting your channel. Because there are so many YouTube channels now and the market is so saturated, you really need to have your own unique vantage point in order to start building an audience that watches your videos over another kind of video. Now, when you're defining your story, you're defining the people who will watch your video. You're also defining the people who won't watch your video. For example, I am a musician and I also studied journalism in school, and my partner Aladino is a boat builder. And so our videos use a lot of storytelling and a lot of live music. Our boat is really small but really beautiful and really well kept. And so those storytelling and kind of like slowly made artistic elements, I think, are what define our channel. Some people prefer, high-speed videos and very large performance boats. That's not our channel, and so those people are not going to enjoy watching our channel, and that's okay, because we have a very dedicated group of people who do. Now, when you're defining your story and what makes you unique, I mean, you've already got your personalities that already makes you unique. You've got your boat, which is probably not the same as a lot of other people's boats. You've got your experience, your sailing goals, how you came into this lifestyle. You can choose to focus on any of those things as kind of an overarching theme throughout your channel. And you can also think about how you want to tell your story. Is it going to be more narration focused, more vlog style? Do you want to focus more on just pure sailing? Do you want to focus more on the destinations? Do you want to focus more on your personalities? And of course you can branch out a bit throughout your different episodes, but it's a really good idea to have this kind of overarching theme to your channel so that people kind of know what to expect when they click on one of your videos. Now, I know that choosing your story and choosing, the way you make the videos, the things which are most important to you, can be quite overwhelming at first, and so I would recommend this. I would not think about it too much and just make your first episode. This is what I did at the beginning. I really didn't put much thought into it. I just made an episode in a way that seemed natural to me, and chances are your first attempt will be the most honest and the most true to who you are. It will combine elements of the way you want to tell your video, whether it's through narration, vlogging, etc. And so by making that first episode, I think you can get a good idea of what you tend to focus on, and then make a clearer plan of what exactly those things are, develop them over time, and that becomes your theme. So the second thing you have to do when you start a YouTube channel is figure out how to actually do it. And there's so much to learn when you're starting out on this path. There's the storytelling, the camera operating, the video editing software, the export settings, the marketing, the all of that. It's a huge amount of knowledge to learn, and if you don't have that prior knowledge, then it can take some time. So I would 100% suggest that you focus first on learning how to tell a good story through film. Don't worry about the technical side of things at first, because those will fall into place later. And as long as you don't have really shaky footage and really terrible audio quality, the story will always come first. We started our entire first season, we only had a GoPro and we had an iPhone, and that's the only things we had to record on. And we built our channel up to about 20,000 subscribers before we got a camera and a drone and a few other things like that. So how do you learn how to tell a good story? Two ways: read books, watch other films. You can't learn how to tell a good story in a vacuum, so really spend time seeing how other people do it and developing your own style informed by filmmakers and authors, etc., that you enjoy. Another thing that I always do to make sure that I'm telling a cohesive story is writing out a narration or kind of like a little script for every single episode. Now, this doesn't have to be a full, like word for word script. It can even just be, a quick doodle on a piece of paper showing the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. Because the chances are, if it's not clear on paper, what the through line of every episode is, then it won't be clear in the video either. So just taking, even if it's only 15 minutes to plan out every episode ahead of time is really good. Now, the nice thing about sailing channels is that the story is often quite apparent already. You're moving from point A to point B. Along the way, wind picks up, wind dies down. Something's always happening and it's always moving in this kind of chronological way. So it shouldn't be too hard to figure out what your story is at the beginning. Now, obviously, it's not all about storytelling. You do have to know how to operate a camera, how to use video editing software, maybe how to fly a drone if that's something that you want to get into as well. I'm not really going to get into that here because those are all huge topics, and there's other people who talk about them much better than I could. A recommendation I can give you is to look at Skillshare to learn more about the video editing and technology and even the storytelling side of things. Skillshare has actually also been kind enough to sponsor this episode. Skillshare is an online learning community where you can take thousands of classes about hundreds of creative topics. One class I found quite helpful, especially if you're starting out, is called Video Editing, Transforming Footage into Evocative Travel Stories. It's a great overview of the whole process, from your organizing your footage to figuring out what your story is, to editing it all together and exporting to YouTube. There are so many classes on there about business or design or writing or painting that can fuel your curiosity or career. You can join groups, give and receive feedback on projects, and sound ideas off of other like-minded individuals. There are more than 7 million people currently learning on Skillshare, and with a premium membership, you get unlimited access to all the classes and groups. Skillshare is giving away a free 2-month unlimited access trial to my subscribers who click on the link in the description box, and after that it's only around $10 a month, which is really not bad for unlimited education. Okay, so the next thing about starting a sailing channel, which is different from starting just a regular YouTube channel, is you have to set up your production studio, which is not always the easiest thing when you're living on a boat. There's a lot of things you have to decide on. The first is where your power is coming from. You do need quite a decent amount of power in order to have your laptop running all day. My laptop takes about 6 amps. When I'm working all day, I usually work around 10-hour days. That's 60 amps of power. Where are you getting that 60 amps of power from? Is it from solar, wind? Is it from a generator? Is your battery bank big enough to support that? On top of just the laptop, your camera batteries are all going to need charging. Are you going to have an inverter which can do that, or are you going to have to buy DC chargers, so basically like a cigarette plug charger for all of your equipment? You also need internet access, so we've found it to be quite simple to just use SIM cards in our phone, but you could also install a Wi-Fi booster on your boat. Do you have sufficient data every month to upload your videos? Yes, you can always try and find Wi-Fi on shore, but that's often quite challenging to find Wi-Fi that's good enough to upload a YouTube video if you don't want to be sitting in one cafe for 6 hours. So I would try and find an onboard Wi-Fi solution if possible. So one of the most commonly asked questions is how much time it takes me to edit an episode. I will tell you the exact time in just a second, but it's a lot more than just editing episodes. There's like the whole business side of it to run as well. Emails, updating Patreon, replying to YouTube comments, and that all takes a significant portion of time. So I'm going to break all of this down. Before I really get into the time demand thing, I am going to say that this is a job, but unlike most jobs, there are no income guarantees. So although there's the potential to earn enough money to put food in your belly, there's no guarantee when or even if you are going to earn that much. And so I will say this: if you don't enjoy doing this work, and if you aren't willing to put in a really significant amount of time just because you love it, then I really wouldn't recommend doing this. Because if you don't enjoy it, there's a lot of other ways that are way better to make money, because you're actually guaranteed a paycheck with most other jobs. And I'll also say that even though we have been successful and we are able to support ourselves off of what we earn on YouTube now, it's still way less than what we would earn if we were working regular jobs. And for us, that's worth it because we get to live this lifestyle, but nonetheless, something to think about. So how much time does it actually take? Between 5 and 70 hours a week. There's a huge discrepancy here because it really depends on what you're doing. When we're crossing or when there's really bad weather and I have to be sailing or the boat is just rolling and we're in a storm, I obviously am not going to be down here on my laptop because you can't, even if you want to. Whereas sometimes we decide to stop in a port for even up to a week, so I can just focus all day, every single day on making videos, and then I'll easily work 10 to 12 hours every day for 7 or even more days, and then obviously you start to build those hours up pretty quick in the week. So it really depends, but the nice thing is you do have the flexibility. Now, the video editing itself, it usually takes me between 8 to 20 hours to edit a video, averaging probably somewhere around 10 hours. This is actually pretty quick compared to most of the people I talk to, but I have a very specific process that I've developed, and I now have, kind of this framework every time I make a video, which expedites things a bit. If you're interested in my creative process, I can talk about that more, but I won't get into that right now. And also, the more you grow, the more time it takes. So at the beginning, it took maybe 5 minutes every day to respond to every single comment that we got on YouTube. And now it takes, up to an hour or even 2 every single day just to respond to emails and Patreon messages, etc., etc. And as we grow more, that will only increase because I'm not going to stop responding to the patrons because, those are the people who make this possible for us. And as we get more patrons, that's more responsibility as well. So one last comment about time is that it really pays to be organized and work ahead when you're living this kind of crazy lifestyle that's a bit unpredictable. Because like I said, there's weeks where you can't work because your boat is being tossed around in the waves, and you need to have some videos backlogged for when those days happen. And so that's why we stop and we do these really intensive work weeks quite often, so that I can build up a backlog, and if something arises that means I can't be working, then we're already prepared for that. Getting views. This part sucks, honestly. There's basically only one surefire way to get views, and that's by having titles and thumbnails which are eye-catching. If you don't have those two things, you're not going to get views. And this is very disheartening for a lot of YouTubers because it's just kind of like this nasty game where you can create this beautiful, amazing, gorgeous piece of art, and if your title or your thumbnail aren't like, "Rah, click this right now," then you're not going to get views. Of course, there's exceptions here and there, but for the most part, that is how it works. So before I really get into this, I'm going to define what clickbait is, because you at all costs want to avoid clickbait, but you also want to, entice people to click on your video. So clickbait is when your title or your description talk about something or refer to something which is not actually in the video itself. So it's misleading. Now, there's kind of gray areas where you can sort of emphasize maybe a part of your video in the title, which is, actually a really small part of the video overall. It's not technically clickbait because it is talking about the contents of your video, but maybe it's not the entire truth anyway. So there's always kind of a balance there. My personal approach to this has obviously been to try and make titles which are appealing, thumbnails which look nice, without ever making myself feel gross about it, and that's your own balance that you'll have to figure out for yourself. I also always remember that although the viewer will come to the video for the title and the thumbnail, they will stay for the video. So I always make content that I am proud of and that will gain me subscribers rather than just views. And that's a really important distinction, because you can have a video with 2 million views, and if it wasn't a good video, then no one is going to subscribe to your channel, and you're not really going to get anything out of that. So how do you make titles and thumbnails that will work for you to get views? First of all, try making videos about things that people search for, like how to buy a boat or how to sail. In general, how-to videos do pretty well. This video is a how-to video. I'm hoping it does well. We'll see. When you spend time on YouTube, you'll also start to get a sense for what videos do well and which don't. So have a look at your home screen, look at what YouTube is recommending to you, what kind of titles do those videos have, what kind of topics are they about, and just try and figure out how you can not mimic, but learn from what has already been successful and try and apply your own version to your own creations. The only thing you shouldn't do is try and comment on other people's videos or post on message boards or forums or something asking for people to watch your channel. It's really not worth it because it kind of just pisses people off, and at the end of the day, even if you get 10 views out of that, 10 views is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. What you really want is for YouTube to start recommending your video, and then you'll get thousands of views, and you do that through titles, thumbnails. Making money on YouTube. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't go into this with the sole purpose of making money. You will make money if you consistently produce quality content and if you work on your thumbnails and your titles. You will be able to earn a little bit, but chances are that for most people you're not going to be maybe even earning as much as you would at your regular job. With that said, I am going to talk about the different ways you can make money off of YouTube, and those are through Patreon, through AdSense, through sponsorships, and through affiliate links. I'll talk about the pros and cons of all of those. So Patreon is definitely the most reliable of these. You've probably already heard of it. It's a kind of crowdfunding platform where people can pledge to donate a certain amount per month or per video that you create. Patrons in exchange will get some special bonuses or some behind the scenes look at what you do, maybe some invitations to meet you, whatever rewards you want to give them, but they'll get something a little bit extra than just the subscribers on YouTube. Now, Patreon is amazing. It's a game changer because it means that you can earn a fairly consistent paycheck every month. Now, in my opinion, Patreon is the most reliable and kind of nice way to earn money on YouTube, but it also comes with the most responsibility because you've got people who like your content enough to actually want to support you with their hard-earned money, and you really have to respect that and provide them with rewards, answer all of their messages, make sure that you are adding bonus things that maybe they weren't even expecting, to just always show your appreciation. I love this part of it because it means that you start to develop some really cool connections with people, and we've actually met a lot of our patrons around the world, and that's been amazing. Like they're just all such really cool people. But like I said, it's not just sort of easy money. It does come with a lot of responsibility to your patrons. The next way to earn money is through AdSense, and this is the revenue that YouTube shares with you for the ads that YouTube themselves place on your video. So at the start and sometimes at the end of your videos, YouTube will give you the option to put ads and they'll take care of it. You don't have to do anything with this. So it's really straightforward, really simple, and at the end of the month sometimes you get a bit of a paycheck. But it's extremely volatile, and it's also extremely hard to make a living wage just from AdSense. There's no way that we would make a living wage if we were relying on AdSense, and it's also just, it changes so much that I don't think we ever could. The most we've ever earned from AdSense in a month is $600, and that was, I forget how many views we got that month, but like 200,000 or 300,000 views. And usually we're earning somewhere around $100, so it's really not a ton. So the next way to earn money is through affiliates, and this is when you partner up with online retailers who ask you to sell their product and you get a small commission. We haven't done this a lot. I did sign up for an affiliate account with Amazon, and I've like linked a few of our camera equipment things in our description boxes with affiliate Amazon links. Yeah, we haven't had so much success with this. I mean, yeah, if you've got a huge audience and you've got lots of people clicking on your affiliate links and buying stuff, you can earn. But in order for that to happen, you've already got to have a big audience, and then chances are you'll be earning more money in other ways. I know some people are really successful with affiliate marketing. It just depends what you put your most time and energy into. But I wouldn't say that it's the most lucrative. So the last way that you can earn a bit of money from your YouTube channel is through sponsorships, and this is when a company will contact you and ask for you to advertise their product or service in your video using your own words. So this is different from the ads that YouTube places in front of your video, where you don't really have anything to do with those. Sponsorships are a really fantastic way to earn a bit of extra money, but they also come with a really big responsibility, because you never want to advertise a product that you don't believe in. Your personal brand is at stake here, and so I would never recommend a product or service which I don't think is actually helpful or is doing good in the world, or I couldn't get use out of. So sponsorships, they're really great. They do have a certain amount of responsibility involved. There's two main kinds of sponsorships. There's sponsorships where someone will just send you a product and there's no contract involved, maybe you just use it. Those aren't really for money often. They can be for sure, but usually when there's money involved, there's also a contract involved. A company will ask you to do a very specific kind of ad in the video with specific deliverables. So yeah, Patreon, AdSense, affiliates, and sponsorships are the main ways that you can earn money through YouTube. Now, I've only been doing this for 1.5 years, but our channel has seen pretty consistent growth over time. One thing that you will realize is that YouTube is always a little bit up and down. You'll have a video that does really well, where you'll get a lot of viewers, new subscribers, and then it'll, quiet down until you make that next video, which goes viral. But consistently over time, our channel has been growing, and I think here's sort of my secrets and also what I'm going to keep doing in the future. The first and most obvious thing perhaps is to keep improving. Never stop learning about sailing, never stop learning about video production, slowly add to your camera collection. Just don't be stagnant. Always keep your viewers, the best comment that I can receive is, "This is the best video of yours that I've seen" on one of my recent uploads, because that means that I'm improving. Also, create videos as often as possible. The YouTube algorithm really likes it when you're consistent with your channel. Taking a long break will really destroy your progress. So really try to avoid that. Like I said, backlog videos. If you do need to take a few weeks or a month off somewhere, then backlog videos so you can still upload constantly. Another thing is, I'm getting into this more. This video is an example of it actually, is producing evergreen content. And what I mean by that is producing content which will always be relevant. So content which answers a question or is just something that doesn't go out of style. So like a typical vlog, yeah, you could watch it at any time, but often those are viewed for the first week and then the numbers kind of die off. Whereas a video like this one, I'm hoping it will continue to answer the question of how to start a YouTube channel for at least a few months, if not hopefully years into the future. And this kind of longevity will add to the growth of my channel consistently over time, rather than just kind of a quick burst and then it's done. And last but certainly not least, to ensure continual growth both in your YouTube channel but also in your Patreon and just in, you as a creator, is to actually care. I am nothing, this channel is nothing without the viewers, the Patreons, etc. None of this would exist without those people. And so realize that those are actual people behind the screen, and you have to care about them. Send thank you notes, surprise patrons with bonuses, be grateful and be genuine, because I love what we're doing and I'm so grateful for it every day, and there's no way that it would be possible without the patrons, especially without the YouTube viewers. And just be aware of that today and every day when you're doing this channel, and make sure you take steps to thank the people that are making it happen for you. So those are my long-term success ideas and strategies. So that's it. I hope this was helpful and it wasn't just me sitting here on my boat rambling forever. But if you have more questions and you want, maybe more in-depth videos about a specific aspect of this whole journey, then let me know, because I do enjoy making these kind of videos. I spend a lot of time thinking about this creative process, and I never talk about it on the channel. You only see the finished result, but there's a lot of thought and journal writing and stuff that goes into this all. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time, hopefully. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, thumbs up this video if you liked it.